Holy dead bugs. Good morning. Thursday, I don't know what it is. 17th, 18th, July, 2026. It's been a fairly slow morning of work. I'm still working on editing yesterday's video of Tacomelon Falls. When I first compiled the video with all the clips I had, excluding the any time lapses off the dash cam, it was an hour and 47 minutes. So it's taking a lot of editing, especially like the trip down to the lower falls. There's like half an hour of just walking down the boardwalk through the forest where there's nothing really to see. So it's just a lot of editing, and so I'm still working on it. It'll be cut down to way shorter, but no video this morning, so I'm still working on that. The smoke from the wildfires today is significantly worse. I was just looking online. I saw some photos of the Mackinac Island Bridge. Visibility is down to like 1/10 of a mile down there or something like that. It doesn't look as bad here. I mean, the sky is a little bit more blue. It's not as tan as yesterday, but you can really smell the smoke in the air today. I'm very glad I don't have asthma. I just have seasonal allergies, but like you can tell that the air is just so much worse. The low air quality alert has been extended now through Friday for this area. Originally it was just through today. So yeah, it's about 11:15 right now. I have back-to-back meetings starting at 11:30. One of which I'm going to have to take from the car. My tire appointment is at 1, so I'm going to spend the next 45 minutes or so here. Basically doing the same thing I did a couple days ago, getting camp broken, quasi-broken. Jacks up and get hitched up to the truck and get ready to go into town to hopefully resolve this tire drama once and for all. So this thing's been sitting for 2 days. I'm guessing that rear tire is pretty well flat. Yeah, not as bad as I expected. Let's see, 22 psi. So yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, the nail that's in there, I can't see it from the direction I'm parked. But I saw it the other day when we were at that tire shop, and yeah, you can't really see it from. It must be on the ground, but it's like a massive roofing nail. It's in there. Keys would be good. It's a little bit messy in here. It's gonna take a little while to get ready to hit the road into, I believe it's pronounced Sault Ste. Marie. I think I've been mispronouncing it this whole time. I heard somebody yesterday refer to that town, and they pronounced it Sault Ste. Marie, not Saul, which isn't too surprising. I mispronounce everything. Anyway, I'm going to get this air compressor started and get jacks up, and I'll pick you up a little bit later. All right, we are set out here. It's 5 after 11 now. The only thing that's still out is Slide, Starlink, and Shore Power. So I have 25 minutes till my next meeting to get the cabin into shape. Okay, 11:15. We are mostly ship shape in here. Just got laptops put away and the groceries to move over to the bench before we go. Starting warm in here, so I did open up all of the windows and vent. See if I can get some of that nice fresh smoky air in here, but yeah. Ugh. So yep, I think we're all ready. Let's get these couple of calls knocked out and head into town. Good afternoon. It's almost 2 o'clock, Thursday, July the 16th. I am in Sault Ste. Marie, I believe is the proper pronunciation. This is the dock behind Lakeside State University. The wildfire smoke is really bad, but this is the Lake Superior channels, or the channel, Lake Superior Channel. That over there is Canada. So I'm in town. As we speak, so hopefully this is the end of Tire Drama 2026. I'm just kind of wasting some time. I do want to go see the famous Soo Locks. There are boat tours available. So I'm going to, once I finish walking around here a little bit, go and check on that. Yeah, this building here is Lake Superior State University, and then over there we'll get we'll look at the back of it. We'll walk around the front too. This is bug just flew in my mouth. This is some sort of hydroelectric dam. I'm not sure what this river is, but this river drains into the channel here, and this is a hydroelectric dam as far as I can tell. I did remember to bring microphones today with the windsock, so hopefully the noise is not too bad. Lots of wildflowers in this little, I don't know what this thing is, but if it wasn't for the smoke, it's a beautiful day. It's a lower 70s, there's a light breeze. You're near the water. It's just gorgeous out here. Hatchery closed to public, but looks to be a pretty popular fishing spot.
boats are like tied off to the dam. Yeah, look at this building. I have to look up some stats on it, but it's pretty cool. I did adjust the image stabilization settings on this. I think I've got them better now. That video from yesterday that I'm still editing, it's garbage. The image stabilization was trying to I don't know what it's trying to do, but the video just feels very choppy. Like every half second, like there's a noticeable jolt in the camera movement from my walking. It's like that setting I think is designed for if you're standing still in one spot, like trying to film like an action or a sporting event or something like that. Another view of the power plant. Yeah, it's designed for if you're standing in one spot to like stabilize, like just shaking hands, but for actual walking, moving around, it had the opposite effect. So yeah, here's Lake Superior State University, freshwater research and education. Once I get up on that bridge over there, it's a better view of the facility. So I will pick you up over there. Yeah, there's a sign for the fish hatchery, and then the dam here is run by Cove. We're at 76 degrees. I mean, this is a massive, massive dam. Holy cow. And according to Google, this is the St. Mary's River. There is a river scenic view further upstream. I might have to check out before I leave town. Yeah, so hydro plant intake, swift current, no trespassing. See the water with the safety lines on the rope. That water is moving. Yeah, this is I mean, the mouth of this thing is super wide. All right, let's try this again. So I had the microphones on me physically, I just didn't actually turn them on. So now the microphones are on. Hopefully now the audio is getting better. I really suck at this whole YouTube thing. Famous Soo Lock boat tours. since 1959. All right, we'll go up to the shop here and inquire within. Another view of the dam. I mean, this is just a massive, massive structure and building. Holy crap, look at all the people. So unfortunately, they're not doing a 3 o'clock tour today. The next one's at 4, and I have a meeting at 4, so that's probably not going to work. But there is another outfit that does tours further up, so I am going to Google that here in a second and see if that would be an option. Here's a side view of the Hydroelectric Dam. So it looks like the 2 o'clock I was about 10 minutes late for, but I think they're full up. All those people I saw entering the building were a couple of massive tour groups that showed up on a bus here, so I guess that's either a private tour or it's sold out. Okay, so the other outfit that does tours is closed today because of smoke. This museum is open, but we'll go check it out. All right, $17 for this museum. She said it takes an hour and a half to go through it. I looked up some of the reviews and sites and stuff, and I don't think I want to spend an hour and a half on this today. I mean, a lot of maritime exhibits. It seemed like more of a exhibit type of museum than like a ship tour type of thing. Like, I love going through U.S. Navy museum ships. I've been to 2 carriers. I want to see the rest. And the Battleship North Carolina. And those are really cool because I really like, those are all mostly World War II history, which is one of my favorite periods of history to study. So I really like going through those because there's an exhibit, in addition to the exhibits, it's all historical perspective. And then just the ship itself is what I like. This one, like, I don't have a ton of interest in overall maritime. So I don't think I want to spend an hour and a half looking at just maritime exhibits, because it looks like most of the interesting facets of the ship, and maybe I'm wrong on this, I'm just going off of the flyer and what the woman running the ticket booth said. Doesn't seem like a lot, like all the really cool parts of the ship are like closed off. So anyway, the Valley Camp. All right, let's looks like we got a marina or harbor down over here. Let's walk up and see if we can find. This is the George Kemp Downtown Marina. Anyway, let's walk up further and see if I can go up to the locks and just view them from the shore, since I can't do a boat tour today. Frying Pan Island Lighthouse. All right, so this looks to be a Coast Guard facility. 1750. Surrender to the British. French officer. Ally of the U.S. during the Revolution. Huh. I did not realize this area was part of the French and Indian War. At least I assume that'd be the period of the French and Indian War, just prior to the American Revolution. There's some interesting historical accounts of colonial militia working alongside French military, because several years prior, the colonials, under the rule of the British, fought against the French and the Indians. And then a few years later, the French were helping the Americans to separate from the British. So there's some interesting accounts of personnel who fought against each other, like within 10 years, fighting together. All right, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Brady Park, Soo Locks, St. Mary's Fall Canal. Fort Brady, July 6, 1822, a battalion of American troops reached the Sault, thereby reconfirming the assertion of American authority over this region made by Lewis Cass in 1820. Fort Brady was built here by year's end. The French and Indians living at the little village now recognized that this remote outpost was truly part of America. The fort was removed in 1893 to a new site chosen by General Phil Sheridan. There's no sign there, but I assume that this was part of the original fort. Ancient Anishinaabeg burial ground. The locks are just west of me. This is facing north right now, over to Canada. So the locks are just up and to the west. And the International Bridge is also up here. All right, so this here is a Army Corps of Engineers facility. Okay, this seems to be the park entrance. Historical landmark, 1966. Canal Park. Okay, inside the park. Got stopped by security at the gate, checking for weapons. I really don't know where I'm going or what I'm looking at, but we're just going to wander around a little bit. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this looks to be a model. Looks like there are 2 locks with double gates on each end. You're probably getting a lot of reflection in the glass, but I would assume operationally one is upstream and one is downstream. Completed in, the original lock, 1896. The second lock down here, 1943. The new lock is 31 feet deep versus 21 in the original. Okay. Oh. Oh, the MacArthur Lock was built during World War II. Okay. Oh, so the original POE lock was removed in the 60s and replaced with the current POE lock. Okay, so the original location here has been taken out, and then I assume this one over here is the new. Okay, so the model here is the original. Huh, very interesting. Okay, so, all right, so that's the historical one we just looked at. This is the new one. Okay, so this is the MacArthur lock from World War II, the original POE lock that was decommissioned. This is the one built in the 1800s. And now the new lock over here. So MacArthur lock, 1943. The POE lock since 1969, 32 feet deep. And there's a new lock being built, and by 2030. Right, so this new lock over here is under construction. So this is the 1961. This is the World War II one. So where was the original POE lock? Okay, so the original POE lock was replaced with the new POE lock in 1960. So this is not going to be done until 2030. This is done in 1969. This was built in World War II. Okay. Oh yes, here's the updated model. Oh, cool, very cool. Okay, so All right, so locks also have a hydropower plant. Check that out. The William H. Wolfe loaded with cars on the Davis deck. Okay, so it looks like these original locks, 1907 and 1919, were at the site of this new one being constructed in 2030. Oh yeah, these were decommissioned in 2018 and 1989. Huh. The Weitzel lock was the first to fill and empty using valves built in the floor. The earlier state lock moved water through openings in the gates, creating turbulence in the chamber. The churning waters in the lock made it hard to control boats in the chamber. Huh. Interesting. Just got the call. My tires are on the trailer, so as soon as I'm done here, I can go pick that up. So I guess those boat tours actually run you through the locks and probably give you a history. Oh, some of these posters about some of these ships that come through. Sailing time. Mackinac Bridge, 7 hours. Oh yeah, there's one of those boat tours. Let's go up a level. It's one advantage of living on the Mississippi with locking dams every 20 miles. I have a working knowledge of how locks work already, but basically they shut the gates on that end. That's the lower end of the pool. So they will tie off here. Because even on the Mississippi, we can take recreational boats through when the barges aren't going through. They tie off there. The gates at the other end close. The entire pool fills with water from the upper pool. And then once this level is equal to the upriver level, that gate will open. And then they go on out. And then either a vessel can enter from this side, or then they reopen those gates down there after they would drain the water out to lower the level to match the lower. Yeah, from this vantage point, you can see the the top of the boat rising. I'm glad I'm not crossing into Canada. That bridge would give me anxiety. That is a long way up there. So that's a long way up there. I crossed the Mackinac Bridge a few days ago, and that one wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but this one looks almost as bad as the Detroit Bridge, International Bridge.
I'm talking to a guy from Detroit today. I wish I would have asked him about that. Actually, he lives on the other side in Canada. So he must have driven, he knew so much about Detroit, he must have driven a lot.
So why are they tying the boat up there?
They tie off every smaller vessel before they start to raise the level.
Okay.
So they're not moving around damaging any of the gates or anything like that. And then so they're tightening up the lines then as they are loosening them up as they rise. I guess they tighten them as they rise, lower them as they fall. Actually, the big ships might tie off too. They just don't want them breaking loose and crashing through the gates.
It's really starting to come up faster though now. Well, I know.
So I'm trying to figure out what about these locks make them so famous compared to any other lock, other than just the historical going back to the early 1900s and World War II era.
Yeah, I know. Mississippi, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all core too. Like when I was coming up here, everybody's like, "You gotta go check out Sioux Falls. You gotta go check out the Sioux Falls." And I'm here. I'm like, looks like a regular lock and dam.
Yeah, that's true. So long.
Yeah.
I'm just being nosy.
Or the alarm's going off.
So next time my students say, I need to wear my earbuds to do my work, I'm like, if you're working at the locks, I can't be wearing earbuds. You got to be able to hear all the alarms.
Yep. Yeah, unless you got a spot right in the front of them boats, you don't get much of a view.
Like that black gate that they got across there now.
Yep.
Notice that one too. We must do that just to make sure.
I would assume that's a
Safety.
safety barrier, so if something did come loose, it would hit that instead of crash through the gates. Well, actually, that's on the upstream side of the gate there, so that, I guess anything coming downriver.
Which one is that one went up.
Yeah, that.
Back in. I didn't even notice it coming back down.
Yeah, that one's on. Yeah, that one's in the lock, so yeah, it's just got to be with the current then. I don't think I've ever seen one like that on the locks and dams on the Mississippi.
It was something new I had noticed. When I saw it moving, I'm like, maybe that's so they have to pay before they can pass.
As far
Like at a toll gate.
I don't know about here. The ones on the Mississippi, anybody. I mean, it's it's public service by the Corps. On the Mississippi, barge traffic always has priority, so wreck boats wanting to go through, you get to wait. And you have to have the correct maritime radio to call up the tower to request clearance or whatever to go through. And then supposedly there's supposed to be a little like handheld receiver like on each end for private small boats that don't have maritime radios. And from what I've heard when I had a boat, I always avoided the locks like the plague.
Yeah.
But from what I heard from people that try to go through, half the time those little handset receivers didn't work.
Oh.
So then you're sitting there trying to like signal to the lock master.
Yeah, the current commissioner and the wind.
Yep.
Or are they gonna go out? Or the other one?
Well, that was well worth the price of admission. Free. $18.99. Weather Bureau. So this weather station was open until 2004. Shipwreck Society uses it as a museum. Free admission, but Saturdays and Sundays only. All right. Well, I think that's everything there is to see here. The time is 10 after 3, so I'm going to go back and pick up my camper, get back to camp so I can do my 4 o'clock meeting. And then we will figure out something interesting to do this evening. Weather and fire smoke permitting. Catch you on the flip side. Downtown Sault Ste. Marie. You are here. A lot of shops and businesses. I think I've seen all the attractions I'm really interested in, so yep, off to get my truck. So this is part of downtown Sault Ste. Marie. A lot of little gift shops, little restaurants, tourist trap city. It's a fairly long walk back over to the tire shop, which after all the hiking I did at the falls yesterday, my feet are barking a little bit, but it is what it is. It's warming up too, probably close to 80. It's still pretty smoky and hazy. Today's supposed to be the worst of it. So overall opinion of the locks, they may be world famous, but I don't think I would call that a must see. I guess I can cross it off my bucket list, but if I do it all over again, I don't think I would make a dedicated trip here. Probably because, like I was talking to that lady at the locks, like I basically grew up on the Mississippi River, so locks and dams are all over the place, and I guess not that fascinating. To me, anyway. I'm guessing if you've never seen a lock in action, it's probably pretty cool. I did get looking like, okay, if this thing connects, get my finger out of the frame. If this thing connects Lake Superior and Lake Huron via the St. Mary's River, like, I thought the two lakes were direct connected. I didn't realize that the St. Mary's River is the official, like, path between the two Great Lakes. And that's why those locks over there exist, to support large vessels, because the two lakes are not directly connected. It is the St. Mary's River that connects the two lakes. So yeah, this is the St. Mary's River. We're just slightly upstream of where I was earlier, down there by the dam. But yeah, this is why the locks exist over there, is this river itself is, because there's 26 feet of fall, I think, between Lake Superior and Lake Huron, that this river is just not navigable with rapids and other stuff. So that's why the locks exist. Whew. A little breezy coming down that river here. Almost lost my cap.
Yeah, look at that wind blow. Oofda. Just leaving UP Tire. Trailer's got new shoes. $512. Not terrible. Walmart had quoted me almost 600, so maybe it's a good thing I didn't go there. Yeah, new Carlisle shoes all around. Should be set for the next 10 years now. All right, back to Brimley State Park. All right, a little after 6 o'clock. I've been back at camp for a couple hours. Done with work for the day. For everyone who gives me crap about pulling off a couple hours earlier this afternoon to go do the locks, I had a meeting tonight that ran long. Well, that I knew was going to run past 5. So, like I said, I don't work an 8 to 5. I was just going to do a bare minimum setup. I got the Starlink out and power hooked up, and was just going to leave it like this, just hooked to the truck overnight. But I have decided that I want to go do a little kayaking tonight. It's I mean, it's still a little bit smoky, but it's not terrible. And the temperature is about great, so I'm going to go back up to that that same lake I was at a couple nights ago, and go do a little paddling, because that's what I want to do. So that means I either have to drag the whole trailer up there, which I don't want to do, or I need to actually drop the trailer. Which is fine. Okay. Why is that not working? We blow a fuse. There's no light on. The light's not working up here either, so I'm inclined to think we'd blow a fuse. Unless, hold on. There is a battery shut off, which I usually leave just on, because that way while I'm plugged into short power, it charges the battery. So we got a distribution block here. Battery is on. Alright, that's my emergency breakaway. I would assume that the fuse for this would be up here somewhere in line, and not inside the cabin. What do we got here? Okay, yep, this little fuse was it. The one that was in there was definitely blown. Don't know how that happened, but I'm glad I had a spare. The switch on this jack tends to get stuck, so I'm assuming that's what did it.
Alright, run hook from the trailer. Roll my tonneau back. This tonneau has about reached the end of its life, but it still works. I've had this truck for 11 years now. This is the second tonneau. The first one lasted about 5 or 6 years, so this one's about the end of its life too. But overall, I've been pretty happy with them for what they are and the price point they're at. So, all right, I'm gonna get this kayak on there, strap down, and I'll pick you up at the lake. See, after that call wrapped up, I turned off my work laptop and got my personal one out. I'm starting to continue the editing process for yesterday's video, and I got through like 2 clips, and I'm like, you know, I don't really feel like doing this right now. I'm flushing my fresh tanks out again. I dumped them while I was in town, and then filled back up with fresh when I got back to the campsite tonight. And so I was then running the water through the lines, and my cold water lines are starting to get pretty good. There's just a very faint smell of chlorine now from the bleach. So I'm going to flush the whole system again tomorrow when I leave to go to my next campsite. But as I was flushing the hot water lines, I was still getting some cloudy water and some pretty strong bleach scent, which led me to believe that I don't think the hot water heater, you're not supposed to say hot water heater, I don't believe that the water heater is getting fully drained. So the low point drain is not emptying that. And even though I crack open the valve on the water heater, I don't think it's fully draining. Because I this time I opened it and I left it open, and like it's kind of doing that glug glug thing very, very slowly, which tells me that it does not have any vent on that line anywhere, and it's therefore just really taking forever to drain out. So there's still a ton of chlorine water in the hot water in the water heater tank, and that's why my hot water lines are still bad. So the good news is that ass smell is completely gone. The bad news is I just got to get the last of this bleach out of the system. So one more flush. But anyway, so I left the water heater drain open, and it's just kind of sitting there very slowly glug glugging. And so while I'm kayaking, I'll let that sit and drain. Yeah, that's so we're slowly getting the drama, the camper drama, out of my life. Tires are now done. No more tire drama. Yay! And yes, no more tire drama. If I get this fresh water tank fully sanitized, it's sanitized now. If I get it flushed, anywho, that's what's going on. I really don't think I know much else. I'll pick you up from the lake. I don't know how well it's going to pick up on camera, but you see the rays of sun, like with the smoke on the road. Holding my phone out the front of the truck, so the audio is going to be pretty bad here. I had to bring microphones, but I mean, this is wild. Alright, I'm not going to film too much out here because I was just here 2 days ago and filmed it all, but I'm going to turn the camera around and check out the smoke over the lake today. I've got a still photo of smoke coming down through the trees on the road in here, but wow, that's something. Alright, I'm gonna go for a paddle. I don't know how far, how long. I might film a little bit of it for you, but catch you later. And we're off. The water is about the same choppiness as it was the other day, maybe a little less. Aside from not being able to see the opposite shoreline, it's going to be a gorgeous evening out here on the water for a little while. My legs and feet are completely shot from hiking 2 days in a row, but
My back and arms are in good shape, so we'll see if we can work those out as well. Who said traveling wasn't good exercise? I didn't make it to this corner last time. Last time I started off from that beach, and a nice current's just going to turn me around. The camera will naturally follow. There we go. And went up to the boat ramp, and then about where those trees are there is where I cut across the center up to that little inlet. So yeah. I'm not going up to the other end tonight. Don't have enough time or energy, but we'll just kind of float around here for a minute. Paddle back across over that boat ramp and maybe kind of go up into, get my finger here, go up into that little corner. I didn't go over there last time either. There's nobody out here. This lake is dead quiet. I'm the only car in the parking lot. There's nobody on the beach, and I don't see anybody out here boating. So I'm definitely going to kind of stay close to this shore over here and not get out into the middle of the lake, just because there's nobody out here, just for safety. I mean, I've used this kayak a ton. I trust it, and the water's calm, and I have a life jacket on and all that, and I know how to swim. But just, yeah, abundance of caution. That's the campground entrance there. So somebody's got a kayak that's kind of parked near their campsite, which is kind of cool. Yeah, this is the little cove behind the boat ramp. It's just opposite those trees there. So, real shallow water here. Actually, uh-oh, about drifting some walks. Better quit filming and start paddling. I thought I saw a splash over here earlier. I guess I'm not the only one out here. There's two people out here swimming. So all these steps over here, I think, lead up to the campground over there as well. This whole area over here, I think, is mostly campground. I drove through there a few days ago. I filmed it, but I don't think I put it into the video because it was rather redundant from the other campground I drove through that was a little bit further north. But yeah, there's a big primitive forest service campground just in those trees. These are some nice cabins up here. Once upon a time, it was a dream of mine to have a little cabin on a private little lake somewhere. I even had picked out the lake down in northern Missouri where I wanted to build. Hold on. The current is rotating me. There we go. But yeah, I dreamed of doing that for several years and was saving and kind of putting plans together to do it. And then one day I just kind of lost the interest. I'd actually bought my boat as part of that planning, because I bought a boat that was going to be perfect for that lake, and figured, well, I might as well enjoy it out on the Mississippi, at least until I get my place down there. And that was before I owned the bus company. And then a few years later, like, I realized that I really like being on lakes and traveling to lakes, but I really did not want all the hassle and upkeep of a second property that I would get to, a few times a year, and the added cost of maintaining something like that and paying somebody to, mow the lawn and take care of stuff when I wasn't there and worry about break-ins or vandalism or whatnot. And that lake I was looking at was a private lake, and from what I kind of read in some of the community forums, they were working on cracking down like Airbnbs and stuff like that. So, even renting it out for some additional income wasn't going to be a real great option. And even then, like, by the time you pay all the Airbnb fees and then pay somebody to come in and clean and make sure the property's ready, there's not a ton of money in that either. It's just a lot of added headache and risk. And, if you decide on a spur of a moment, hey, I want to go down for the weekend, but you've already rented it out, that doesn't work real well. So that's why I didn't do that. And now I'm glad I didn't. That would have just been a huge money pit. But now it's like anytime I want. It's like I figured out that I just enjoy traveling part-time much more, and rather than having one fixed set location.
Anywho, long tangent about lake houses. There's some nice ones along here though. I didn't get over to the side of the lake yesterday. I intended to, or not yesterday, the day before. I intended to paddle the shoreline all the way back down to my docking beach down there. But I started getting tired and the wind kept pushing me out towards the center of the lake, so I just I just went that direction the other day. So I wasn't even gonna paddle this far north today, but got out here and I'm just kind of sticking to the shoreline and into the shallows here. And it's just so nice out here, even with the smoke and the haze. It's still just nice being out in the water, and I feel good and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm just gonna keep going. And one nice thing about being on the side of the lake now is the wind and current is definitely pushing me back towards the where I started from. So if I do get a little bit tired, the current will do 90% of the work on the way back. But yeah, I mean, look at that sky. I mean, it's just nuts. You can barely see the sun up there. It's just that smoky out here. I can barely see the beach down at the other end. It's just insane. There really isn't too much of a scent in the air. Last year when I was at home and all the Canadian wildfires were, the smoke was blowing south towards Iowa, like you walked outside and it smelled like a bonfire, but I really don't smell anything here. I know the air quality is really bad. There's a lot of people wearing N95 masks around, which you can't say I blame them. But I really haven't noticed it. I haven't noticed any effects. Like, I'm not coughing. I don't feel winded any easier than I normally feel winded because I'm fat and out of shape. But it is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna keep paddling a little bit further up that direction. And I wasn't even gonna talk this much out on the lake today, but is what it is. Catch more water. Alright, I'm almost up to the northeast corner of the lake here, but look at that water. That is almost smooth as glass. This is so damn peaceful. Nothing to hear but the birds and the wind in the trees. This is just awesome. So awesome.
You've got a great profile.
Yeah, I do, don't I? Especially from your side.
Well, at least we finally agree on something.
Yeah. We both like having my face.
Okay, we're back on land. That wraps up another successful kayak trip. I went all the way up to that North Shore and around and then back down. That was a hell of a lot of fun. Just as much fun as I had 2 days ago. I really love kayaking. So, I'm gonna ditch the life vest here and get this thing loaded back in the truck, go back to camp and make some dinner. Catch you later. Okay, it's 7:45, just got back to camp. I'm going to lay out some burger patties. They're still slightly frozen from having been in the top shelf of my refrigerator. So we're gonna let them thaw a little bit while I go and hit the showers. So yeah, that was a fantastic time out paddling on that lake. I've not done any kayaking on the actual Great Lakes yet, but when you've got a small, private, calm lake that close, it's that gorgeous, like, you don't really miss it. I'm sure I'll get out on one of the Great Lakes before this trip is over, but yeah, that was a super fun time. I just got back to camp here. The meat is thawing out, and I'm going to go take a shower. My channel's probably a little bit unique compared to a lot of YouTube, like van life and bus life. Seems like everybody's vegan and vegetarian, but both my grandpas were farmers. My dad was a farmer. We eat meat with every meal. That's just how my family is. I normally eat a lot more chicken than beef, actually, but I don't eat much chicken when I'm camping. With the inconsistent temperatures of the grill and my camp stove, I really don't like salmonella, so I tend to eat a lot more red meat that I can tell when it's properly cooked, as opposed to guessing with chicken and stuff. But anyway, that's a tangent that nobody asked for. It's shower time, and I'll pick you up when I'm making dinner. All right, just got back from showering, got the grill lit. I may have gotten a little overzealous with the lighter fluid. Water heater is flushing again. Previous owner put this little hose on so when you drained it, it doesn't, glosh all over like that. unfortunately, like, this thing is acting, there's no air vent on it, so this thing is really preventing it from draining properly. So anyway, I took that off, and yeah, now it's draining properly, so we're just giving that a flush. Yeah, let's go and meat patties are mostly thawed. We're gonna go ahead and get these things prepped, get everything else prepped, and make some dinner. Catch you later. All right, 8:45 now. I'm freshly showered. Burgers are just about done here. Actually, I think that is done. All right, got the grill closed up. I'm gonna eat inside tonight, actually, and get a little bit of editing done. There's a little bit of a breeze with some smoke outside tonight, and it's cooling off, and there's a ton of mosquitoes out. So that's why I'm just gonna eat in here, do some editing, and yeah, this will probably be my last update for tonight, Thursday, July 16th. Tomorrow is going to be a travel day. I've got a couple of meetings in the morning I have to do, and then I'm driving west and to my next state park where I'm meeting a friend of mine to camp for the weekend. So yeah, that'd be the end of this one. Thank you for watching if you made it all the way to the end. This is probably going to be another ridiculously long video because I filmed way too much while I was kayaking. I thought it was going to be short with just the Soo Locks, and yeah, then I probably filmed 20 minutes on the lake too. So if you watched all this, again, thank you, and I will see you in the next one, which will be tomorrow's video. All right, good night, bye.